G'day, and welcome back to another episode of the Bradley J. Driver Experience. Always a pleasure to be here. We're back in the HQ, the new home of the Experience here at the top of LME, and it's always bloody hot and cooking in here, man. I'm sweating already, and, you know, it's not nerves because I'm cool under pressure these days. You know, I think this will be about episode 70 or 71 by the time it hits the radio waves. So, you know, we've been in it a minute.
Not your first rodeo.
No, it's not. And it's a little bit nostalgic because it's, you know, today is the 27th of Feb, I believe, or the 26th, around about there. And 11th of March 2020 was the first time I sat down with this guy. It was episode 7 of my podcast. I'm going to roll it with an intro from the top because he deserves one. Well, you know, the thing is, in life, we all have some form of talent, or I'd like to think that most people have one or a few. But this man has so many. He is a musician, and, you know, I feel like you could stretch that word even farther and greater because he's a musician of many kinds. He's the drummer of Pacific Avenue. He's the man that leads the Funknasty. They call him the Big Twisty. Ladies and gentlemen, from your home, your car, or wherever you are, give a very warm welcome to the very talented Dom Littrich. How are you, brother?
Yeah, good, mate. What an intro.
Mate, it's well deserved. You're, you know, we speak a little bit, and I sort of said to you, like, mate, the thing that surprises me so much with you is your ability to do so much. Like, the amount, we were just talking about it off camera before we hit record here, and, like, there's a lot of work that goes into editing content, creating content, putting it out, especially in your space where the creativity and the quality of it is highly judged and kind of there for everyone to pick on or enjoy for a long period of time. Man, it takes a lot of work and a great work ethic to do what you're doing, so I commend you on that.
Thank you, man. Cheers. Yeah, it's always, I don't know, trying to juggle a bit. I think I need to be more organised for one, but it kind of just on the fly, just get stuff going. I'm trying to. Mum's been in my ear, trying to keep things jotting down, get the planner, get the calendar out, but yeah, we make it fit, make it work.
And, you know, the thing is, whenever you're juggling a few things,
yep.
You know, do you find for you that it's easier to take focus on one thing at a time, or do you feel like because of everything being so consistently produced and spread out across the year, you kind of have to be doing all 2 or 3 things?
Yeah, you kind of have to sort of, like, it's hard at the point, like, 'cause I'm still trying to sort of juggle a bit of, like, casual work here and there, and then trying to, yeah, it's weird because a few different characters, being Big Twisty, then the music, and then doing some just videos on myself, that sort of thing. It's kind of, it's weird when, like, to switch out of that character and go into the other one, and yeah, like, it's an interesting thing because there's always something new coming up, something you, it's just kind of take off a different hat and put on something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it always seems to work out. It's just, or like today I was up in Sydney and then pinned it back down for a gig with Dad, and then back here, and it's just, you just make it work.
You make it happen. No, I love it, and it's so good to see, and I think, you know, all the success that you're having is greatly deserved because of it. The thing that I've noticed probably the most since last time we caught up, and which has had the most growth, is Big Twisty. And it's, you know, it's so interesting because we spoke about the beginnings of shows, and then just recently you've been in Miami and Queensland, you know, performing gigs, and it's, you know, we probably didn't expect the year we had previously with gigging, and you probably would have gone far further without that. But talk to me about getting back into live gigs and how that feels.
For sure. Yeah, so I guess firstly with Big Twisty, because through lockdown, there wasn't really that option of doing the gigs, so I kind of tried to push the focus onto the video side of it. I did like a 30-day challenge where I tried to do a video every day, which was a how-to sort of series. So it was basically just Big Twisty, just teaching the people how to be like Twisty, which is everyone wants to be, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like, kind of good in a way. It was good and bad with COVID. Like, I actually had that time to focus on that, to edit, like, you know, takes forever editing everything. But I feel like I wouldn't have had that time otherwise to be back to normal life.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. Got to focus on that. Just pushing that kind of 1 minute sort of videos. Seems a lot at the like a lot of people's attention span is kind of that shorter sort of thing. So the one minute videos seem to go all right, resonate with people, and also everyone on their phones being locked down at home and that sort of thing. So that gave it a boost. And then when like kind of it started to trickle back in, when venues started opening up around like November last year, that's when I kind of shifted the focus back to the music side of it. Because we've got the Funknasty, which is, there's not 10 of us all up, so 9 and me. And yeah, it's just kind of just grown. Like I had some mates, and then I was like, oh, we need a sax player, we need a bongo player, and it's just kind of a group of like people who just want to have fun. Like the whole thing, it's not taken too seriously. It's not like it's kind of a bit tongue in cheek, the whole thing. But you just kind of put on that persona of being Big Twisty and just get out there and just do your thing. But yeah, we did like a little run of shows last week. Actually, we were up in Queensland. It's pretty cool up there. There's like not as many regulations down here, so it's just really like standing.
Shout out to the fucking Fast and Furious boys out the back there just cruising past.
It was like 300 people up there, and I don't know, people running on the stage and just yelling in the mics. I was like, shit, if one of us has got COVID, like the super spreader band will go down. But I guess any publicity is good publicity. But so that was a sick time. It was funny just trying to organise getting 10 people on the road to a destination. But we got
the logistics, right?
Yeah. Hard enough organising myself at times, but we managed to get there, and it was a cool time. And then with like Pacific Avenue too, we kind of did a bit of a tour November, December. Got back up to Byron, and then just heaps of shows around Sydney, around here. And it just feels unreal to be playing again. Like you kind of, it was a bit through that COVID, you kind of feel like you're losing a bit of purpose when your weekends come around, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do now instead of having a gig every night? So it just felt great to be back in the swing, back with the boys, back with, actually catching up and just doing what you love, doing the music side of it.
Definitely. One thing that I notice is, anyone you speak to in this sort of stage of music or this side of creative, I guess, it's hard to make money. Like money's hard to come by. And I think it's very selfless of you that for you can tell 100% of the time the main focus is not money, but putting on a really good show, because to have 10 of you there means that the money's spread amongst a couple of people, and that the logistics of things, like you said, get a whole lot trickier. And it's really cool to see that the experience of everyone there, no pun intended, is like literally paramount.
Yeah, well that's it. Like I'm lucky enough that everyone in the band are in that same kind of like-minded headspace where they're all in it for a bit of fun. Like all of us are just, we definitely want to watch it grow and like all in 100%, but also we want to do it for the music, and like everyone in the band loves doing it, so we're just going to do it kind of no matter how much we get. You know?
Where do those opportunities come from? Because obviously your social media is growing for Twisty now. Like it's over 20,000 followers, isn't it?
Yeah, something around that.
Which is really cool to see, and that's grown heaps from last year. Like heaps. I can remember us talking about it then. Yeah. Does that then you find that like, because obviously at first we've spoken about it before, we've got such a loyal group of followers here in the Illawarra that love getting behind other creatives and people in their area that are really putting themselves out there and sticking their neck out to have a go.
Definitely.
And, when you've got 20,000 people and you can see that that's really Australia-wide, and there's people all over the shop getting behind you. Yeah. Good feeling, I can imagine.
It's pretty mental. And, like, you get people kind of hitting you up and like, oh, when are you coming here or whatever? And you're like, just kind of blows you out that they care. You're like sick. It's a funny feeling for sure, but it's very humbling, definitely.
Are there opportunities you have to turn down? Just because it's too hard to make it happen?
Like gig-wise? Or? Yeah, like, we definitely, I guess, having, like, with Pacific Avenue as well as Big Twisty, you kind of, like, as much as you are doing it for love and you do it anyway, there are just some points where you kind of, I don't know, putting yourself back if you go there. Like, it's especially hard with gigs in WA or, like, getting to other, like, South Australia, long distances, long travel, especially with 10 people with Big Twisty. You do kind of have to draw the line in the sand somewhere, but if money was there, we'd do it 100%. But I don't know, we'd probably do it anyway, to be honest.
It's funny, isn't it? Like, we spoke about it before, and I know we've spoken about it a little bit here today, juggling casual work, and juggling all the things that you do.
Yeah.
There's obviously that want to just be
Yes.
able to do it full time.
Yeah, definitely.
At what point do you think, because, you know, I had that experience last year where I probably dived in a little bit early, where I quit my job and just went like balls out and really had a crack. And I've had some harder times in the last few months because, you know, you want to be creative every day, but when the money's not coming in, bills still need to be paid, you need food in the belly. You know, when does that decision come, and, you know, do you see that in the near future for yourself?
Yeah, like definitely. With me, I've just been trying to just pull further back from working. At the moment, I'm kind of doing like 2 days a week. And the goal, I've kind of set a bit of a goal for the next couple months to just fully pull out. There's been a couple kind of opportunities, like video sort of things, which have been popping up. And like with Matt and Jack, like from the Inspired Unemployed, who I live with, they were in a similar boat where they started getting a bit of traction, and they were like, we need this time, every bit of time we can, to keep pushing that creative side. So we're just going to have to take the plunge and just go for it. I think it's kind of getting close to that point with me, where it's just like, because it's a bit of a scary plunge, but I think sometimes it's necessary so you can have all your time and all your energy pushed into that 100%, and from that growth, from that energy there, that's where the growth kind of happens, I reckon.
So how old are you? 24, 25?
25, yeah.
You know, it's still, I say to people all the time, like, still so young.
Yeah.
Still so much time to fall on your face, get up and start again. Big so much time to learn from all the little mistakes and little failures along the way. And, you know, that's kind of the name of the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
really, to have a go and to put yourself in those situations.
Definitely.
But you spoke about the boys there, Matt and Jack, and obviously they've risen, you know, like they're nearly at 1 million followers, which is crazy.
Insane,
absolutely mental. But you feature a lot in that stuff, and it's, you know, you are the face for me that, like, I think because you got the mo, you've got those features that whenever you're in one of those videos, it's just like, there he is, like he's
got those
front and center.
Weird facial expressions and, I don't know, the body hair.
the question off that is, like, obviously you'd have now people recognizing you and coming up to you. What are they recognising you for? Are they going, you're from the Inspired videos, you're Twisty, you're Pacific Avenue? Is it a mix of all three?
It's a bit of a mix, man. Like, it's funny because where I work is at Hayworth's, the local music shop. And it's like my co-workers have said, you kind of judge on the age of the person coming in, what they're going to like call you out for. Because I play in a band with my dad as well, like a Water Runners, a bluegrass band. Yeah. So if there's like an older sort of person coming in, they're like, oh, Water Runners. And then like, young people's Twisty, and then like the musos at Pacific Avenue. I don't know. I don't even know who I am anymore. You know,
it's I can imagine. Yeah. It's funny because, you know, that like the brain can only hold so much information.
Yeah.
When you're in three performance acts, you know, there's so much to know and to learn and remember.
Yep.
Is it hard to juggle that?
It is a bit. Like it's sort of using different parts of the brain. So when like I'm with Pacific Avenue, I take a bit of a backseat being the drummer. I kind of like cruising. I feel super comfortable in that spot where it's kind of what I've always done from like the first instrument I've learned. Kind of sit back there and just kind of groove along with it. The spotlight isn't on me as much. Yeah. Whereas when and that also with Pacific, like that's something that, I don't know, it's genuine, like something I really feel, like the music and that sort of thing, and like the passion in it. With Twisty, it's a whole another thing where I'm the front man and this charismatic kind of up himself dude. And I'm a bit out of my comfort zone because I've never really been a front man, but it's kind of fulfilling those desires that I've always kind of been keen on just doing. So it's a different kind of nerves, and also the nerves of like you're kind of running the show a bit. But yeah, it's cool. It's a good mix. Yeah, real good mix.
Obviously, you know, you just said it there, like they played two completely different roles in your life and served two purposes creatively.
Yep.
For you moving forward, obviously, it's, you know, as long as you can do the two, that's going to be an amazing experience. But is there one that you like really in terms of the long future, you know, the future, long term, that you see being the major focus, the major success?
I think like with Pacific Avenue, that's something that my heart has always been in completely. Whereas like we started as a band 4 years ago, and like right from kind of just trying to figure ourselves out, and like it's just a project that we've all put so much time and heart and like love into. And it's also something where I don't have to kind of pretend I'm someone else. It's just me.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the one which I could kind of see mostly as like a career sort of thing. Big Twisty, I'm stoked to see where it goes. Like I'm having the best time with it and the big crew. But also kind of a bit more of a fun sort of side. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Like, I was just thinking about it then, and Twisty, like you said, you're playing that character, you're playing that role. The only other person I can really think of similar to that is, what's the Pommy guy? Michael Dapper? Is it Dapper? He was the...
Not Ali G, is it?
No, there was Ali G as well, but there was the...
that Man's Not Hot.
Man's Not Hot, yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Big Shaq.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Was it Big Shaq?
Yeah. Big Shaq. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man's Not Hot. Yeah.
That's the only one that I can really think of in recent times that has done something similar.
Yep.
But obviously there's a line to have success off the back of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Does it fit into that music category, or does it fit into a category of performance, entertainment, comedy? Like,
yeah, well, that's the kind of thing, like with our live shows, I guess the closest thing you can kind of compare it to is kind of like like a musical or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like the music's there, but it's also such a performance. Like me and Falcon, like Matt, he's the hype man, Big Bird. So me and him have this banter, and like it's kind of like a rehearsed sort of show.
Yeah.
We'll kind of call people out of the audience, get the like stop the song, and be like, nah, like we're gonna need some more like noise from the crowd and whatever. And we have our like little stories before songs. So it's I kind of see it as like a full performance show. Whereas with Pacific, it's kind of more about the music and like it's still a show. And we try really hard to make it that, but yeah, this is more like that. I don't know, that comedy side where it's that like musical theatre sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I get that vibe. Do you feel like people buying tickets expect that?
Well, I think, to be honest, a lot of people buy tickets not knowing what the hell they're in for. Like, we've had a few shows where people are just like, I don't know. And then when they kind of see, like, the 10-piece funk band out there who know what they're doing, they're kind of like, oh, all right. And then it's interesting. But I think the good thing is, I think when people rock up, they're expecting to have a good time, which is cool.
Because the crowd looked nuts. Like in those videos in Queensland, it looked like it was a really good energy in the crowd.
It was a vibe, man. It was cool. It was just, it was also dress up. It was like a prom theme. And I feel like when people are dressed up, they're just like, in
that's
character
cool.
and going for it. Yeah. So no, it was,
really
super, super cool. Yeah.
We spoke about Pacific just off camera before, and some new music coming about, which is exciting. Yeah, like I said, and I don't say this because we're sitting behind the camera. I'm a fan. Like I listen, and I listen quite a bit, and I love basically all of your music. Like there's always with bands, it's always like that 4 or so songs that you really like and listen to and repeat. But I find myself with you guys, I can just put stuff on and listen because it's all a good vibe. And I don't know if that's because I know you. And because I feel kind of connected to the story because you've been on here. But I really enjoy tuning in, and it's exciting to hear there's new music. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sick. So we've been pretty hard in the studio from kind of like end of last year sort of thing.
Yeah.
We've been up at a studio called the Grove Studios, which is kind of Summersby's, a bit north of Sydney.
Yep.
Great studio too. It's like you stay on site, so it's just, I don't know, you just hang in there, right, and going in the studio having some beers, like real good energy there.
That's cool.
And we've got this producer, Jack Negro. He's a legend, like just young, real personable bloke. So we've just really connected with him, and we pretty much started we're thinking of like another EP, just doing some songs, and they just kept coming. And now we've kind of recorded like an album. I don't know if I should be saying this, but yeah, whatever. We've got like a single that we're going to drop over the next kind of month or so, and then just like release a few singles, do the album. But yeah, it's been so much fun, like just spending that much time as a band together and just like working on the creative process of it.
Definitely.
And kind of had lately, like it's kind of the finishing touches where you're sitting there and looking back on it all, and you're like, oh, this is, you just feel, I don't know, a bit kind of shocked. You like, we did this, and then you're kind of adding those like little touches of like how the songs transition and picking the song order of the album, and so it's pretty exciting. Like first album we've done as a band, and I don't know, it's been a very very cool experience for sure. Yeah.
Talk to me about, without giving too much away, the writing of that music and the journey of that album. Is there a common theme or a storyline to it, or is it just all different ideas and themes throughout the songs?
Yeah, like with so Harry, who's the lead singer and rhythm guitarist, a lot of the time he'll kind of create an idea, get the guts of the song, and then kind of come to us and we'll workshop it, change the sections, the structure, get that sort of thing going. A lot of the themes are kind of that a bit coming of age kind of thing, like where it's you kind of, I don't know, figuring things out and partying and that kind of thing, but not like, I don't know, really trying to, with this album, it's a bit more of a new sound where it's a bit more kind of rock and roll, kind of those old school rock and roll sort of vibes. It does, the content kind of, it's a lot of ideas, but it's that similar sort of theme of that, I don't know, growing up.
which is your life, so it feels real, right? And it's it's what I can imagine predominantly probably who the audience is.
That's
do you guys get to see those stats, like what type of people are listening in?
Like on Spotify and stuff, they had the stats, and it's like, I think main sort of like that 18 to 25 sort of group, which is
which
us,
makes sense.
So,
which is so similar to the podcast.
Yes. Exactly.
I think it kind of projects who you are as a human being at what stage of your life you're in.
For sure, man.
You got some Sydney shows coming up?
We've got one on the 12th, playing at the Lansdowne.
Is that sold out? I've seen that.
It should be pretty cool. Got that one, and then we're playing up Maroochydore, Brisbane, and a festival, Great Keppel Islands, off the Great Barrier Reef.
Yep.
So that's all in March.
That's really cool.
Should be good fun, be back on the road.
Because you've had probably a lot of the growth for you during COVID as a band was the 30 days, 30 covers.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I enjoyed because I thought such a nice concept. Like we've seen a few artists really take the reins with that during COVID and come out and use the virtual platforms that we have to engage the audience, to engage the listeners. And I think it was really nice as someone who enjoys the music to go, I'm kind of not waiting for new stuff here. I get to immerse myself in some of the covers and the stuff that you guys love. What was that experience like?
That was great. Like, similar as I said before, like having that time through COVID, through the lockdown, to actually all knuckle down every night, get together as a band and come up with some ideas. Like, it was a bit kind of touch and go at points because we'd like rock up, if we'd worked or whatever, get there at like 5:30, then we'd have to have a video out by like 8:30 at the latest. So just all systems go, and sometimes we'd be rocking up and like, what are we doing tonight? And we'd be like, oh shit, get the chords out, like. But it was cool, and I guess also having that interaction with like your online following of like, what do you want to hear next, and then they kind of send it through, and then we could kind of see how we'd put our take on it. It's cool trying to make it sort of condensed versions as well, rather than doing like the whole song. Just kind of taking out, I don't know, what we thought were the best bits, and just make it a little kind of little pocket rock.
Did you see real growth off that?
Yeah, definitely. I think before we did it, we were on about like 6,000, and then after, I think we got up to like 12 or 13.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, doubled. But
the live videos seem to work well, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Just exposes you to a new audience, and it's, like I said, it's just nice to see that people are having a crack and making the most of the circumstances. Like, we can't control them.
Yeah, that's
You kind of got to run with them.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
So obviously, great feeling to see live music back. What are the plans for, I guess, the rest of this year? We're still pretty early on in 21, but the year is going quick already, like nearly at the end of Feb.
Insane.
What do the plans look like and the structure for the year?
We're thinking kind of following that sort of the release and the singles and the album, so we'll probably kind of do some little tours off the back of each single release.
Yep.
I think we're aiming for like a pretty solid tour. Hopefully get to WA and like South Australia, and just kind of do like a Australia-wide tour. Hopefully like around mid-year. It's just it's hard with COVID. Like you can't really be sure of anything. You think it's happening there's an outbreak next week. You know what it's like. But so we're hoping for that. We'll just
A mate of mine was headed to Brizzy maybe this next weekend coming
Yep.
for a festival.
Oh no.
And it got cancelled due to COVID.
Oh, did it? No way.
Which is, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
maybe that's an excuse for an organisational
Yeah,
issue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's definitely no new cases in Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, like, I went to a festival in Brisbane. It's like a techno festival over New Year's, and it was like, I think it was like 5,000 people just standing, and like, that was pretty wild.
No issues. It's like you said, it's, you know, you can't pick it. One day it's one thing, the next day it's another. I want to go back quickly and talk about that studio and the recording and having that time together.
Yeah.
Is that unique, that setup, to be staying there? And
yeah, definitely, man. It's kind of like, because we recorded before that at Sony, and that was cool and all, but like having that experience at the Grove of being able to just fully just relax there, and like literally there's a studio, you walk out the studio and there's like lounges and a kitchen, and the bedrooms are at the back. There's like a big pond, and like it's just out in a farm, like rural area, and it's something special about it for sure. I recorded there also with Big Twisty as well, and just having that, just being able to go out and have a breather and then get back in, and yeah, it's something magical about it. Definitely, the bass player from In Excess actually built the studio.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then like just every artist, I don't know, a lot of big like Silverchair, DMA, Sticky Fingers, Ruby Fields, but yeah, a lot of artists have all recorded there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's something special about it, definitely.
So when you're there, is it just you guys as a band, or are there other artists there?
Yeah, so
doing
there's
their
a
thing
Studio A and a Studio B, which is about 100 meters down the back. Usually it's just, you just have, like, one band will have that studio and another band will have there. We're in, like, Studio A, and, it's pretty much just us and the producer the whole time, which is also pretty cool. You're like, they just kind of trust you to just do your thing. We're pretty well behaved, I think. Most of the time.
Oh, really? So they just leave it.
Yeah,
it's like all hands on deck, you guys.
Yeah. And that at the end of the night, like after you finish, like we had some pretty late nights. We were in there with Jack up until probably like 11:30 sometime, and then he'd just like, all right, I'm going to bed. Like he lives down the road, and just leave it to us, and we just hang out and have a few beers and unwind.
That's so cool. I think what a great experience. Because would you have had much time together in the last couple of months? Like, are you guys all in the same sort of area still? Or
we're all in Kiama, but we definitely do kind of get caught up doing our own things a bit. So having that time where you're all as a band, just really just being together and getting ideas, it's a special time for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of the other goals for you personally headed into the rest of this year, and stuff that's maybe changed from last year, or things that you were achieving and then gone, okay, I need to remodel this and ramp it up a little bit?
I think with this year, one of the biggest, like, I've got a bit of a goal just on my personal account to kind of keep videos going. I think that I love doing Twisty, but also when it's just me, you can kind of open it up to a whole stack of different characters. So I've got a big goal to kind of just go with that, keep the content coming, just see where it takes me. With like the music side, super keen to kind of, I don't know, it'd be great getting a bit of traction on like radio play, that sort of thing. I'd love to get on a bit of a festival circuit, especially like over summer. Playing some of the bigger festivals, that'd be ideal. And similar with Twisty too, getting on some festivals. I feel like, I don't know, that kind of music and that kind of vibe could sort of resonate with it all right. I'm excited for this year. Like, definitely, especially living with Matt and Jack too. Just they come home, like a few times a week, just like saying things that just blow your mind, and you're like, oh, cool.
You feed off that energy, right?
Yeah, and like just opportunities popping up left, right, and center, and super cool.
You know, here's a question for you, because this is personally for me in the last like month or two. I've experienced, I guess a part of social media and a part of what it's like to be a creative, where I've really come to appreciate the moments where I disconnect from it all.
Yes. Yeah.
And have those moments where it's just like me, phone off. Yep. Like my phone's on do not disturb most of the time now, like when I'm not doing something. And I'm just like, man, there's something to that too, being able to disconnect. And I hear about all you're doing, and I'm like, you live with it. You go and you do it in 3 different areas as a creative. Your mind's always ticking over when you're in that space, because you got to think of a new video. Okay, that's the idea. How does it come together? do you feel that there's times where you just need to take a step back? And,
For sure, man.
And how do you do that now?
Yeah, well, like as much as I love social media as a tool to kind of grow, like musically and with videos and whatever, I also kind of hate the fact how much like people are so reliant on it and kind of just takes, I don't know, a lot of the time it can change people's moods and like bring them down with comparison and like comparing their lives to other people. So I feel that, and luckily enough so did Matt and Jack too, like who I live with. So we kind of, I don't know, we'll do our thing, we try to sort of set aside a bit of time a day and then just switch it off and get it out of there. Like, especially with them too, I feel like if they went through their phones constantly, they'd just go nuts. And like, I feel that,
100%.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Like if you kind of tapping into every little dopamine hit, you just, lose your mind.
How hard is it not to compare with like other artists or other bands that are performing well? And maybe, usually you're comparing with people who are a couple of years ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways,
yeah.
But we're all impatient.
Yeah.
It's who we are as human beings.
Yeah.
No matter how much you love the journey.
Yeah.
I love to podcast.
Yep.
But every day of the week, I think, man, I can't wait until I'm in Rogan's position where I can get those big guests in the big studio and have all of those exciting moments behind the mic.
Yep, definitely.
But you got to remind yourself, hey, this is early days. Is that tough?
Yeah, like it is tough, but also I guess in a way it gives you that motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Like you do, sometimes you're kind of like, oh, I wish that was us, whatever, but you kind of just look at how hard they're working and how hard they're going at it, and you're like, yeah, I can just, if I put in the work and the time, like, hopefully get to that stage.
Is there anyone in the scene that you seem to learn a lot from? Maybe it's not just the love for their music or the love for their talent as a creator, but like something that you can really learn from their direction and the way they execute?
Yeah, for sure. I've actually, like local lads, a band called the Terrys. They're all a little bit younger. They all went to the same high school and that sort of thing. But since COVID, they all, like they through JobKeeper, they're out of work. They're doing that, and then they just watching their drive and like how hard they've gone at it, like every day posting, just releasing music like back after back, and just keeping that kind of momentum going. And now they got like Triple J feature artist, Unearthed artist this week. And it's just like, it's just amazing just seeing it pay off for them, and just like these young kind of grommet lads just frothing, like they'd come into the music shop like starting out and like, oh, what do you reckon this and this, and just seeing them grow and like just crack it, it's like real cool.
Really cool feeling.
Yeah.
Hey, it's nice to see the people around you succeeding. It creates an energy and an environment, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, 100%.
That, and it's like COVID. It's fucking infectious, man.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
like you just want to be around those people and continue to push yourself and reach new heights.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so excited for all you're doing. It's, for me, like I said, it's a similar thing where I look at you and I go, you're ahead at that next level from where I'm at, and I see you hustle and work away, and I go, I've got some work to be doing. And
mate, you're working hard, brother. You're doing good.
It's getting there, and I just think, man, it's about supporting. That's why I love having people like yourself on, because, it's about supporting the people and pushing your art out there to more and more people. And, if it's 10 new people that become fans of Pacific Avenue or Big Twisty or whatever that you're doing, it's just so nice to see. And so I commend you, man, for your hard work, and
thank you, man.
I'm excited to follow in 2021.
Cheers, brother. Thanks so much.
Bro, where can people make sure they're finding... There's so many places to be finding your content.
Mainly just on Instagram. There's, Big Twisty, Dom Littrich, my personal, and Pacific Avenue. I don't know. A feature we like Inspired Unemployed, it's a couple of videos, but just catch me up there.
Would you say main hub, just go straight to Dom Littrich and that'll kind of lead you in all directions?
Yeah, got the tags on there, so... Just go to Dom Littrich. Boring old Dom.
Nah, mate, not at all. Not at all. Not in the slightest. But hey, so good to have you here. I appreciate you coming through the studio for the second time. Nostalgic looking back on last year and episode 7. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed sitting here listening or watching another episode of The Experience. We're rolling out the content in 2021. We're taking on that Big Twisty, funky work ethic, and I love it. So thank you all for tuning in.